Xscape Radio. Xscape Radio. Xscape Radio. Xscape Radio. All right. For all the viewers listening right now, we got a very special guest in the building. We have reached the top of the hour. This is KYOM, doing business as K-Sun, also known as KSUN 95.9, Wichita, Kansas. Once again, very special guest. We got Orlando Williams. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the viewers out there, please.
My name is Orlando Williams, alias also known as the Sartorial Bully.
Okay.
Glad y'all got me here today.
Hey, man, we're glad to have you today, man. And pretty much why we decided to bring Orlando Williams here is because, or what Orlando Williams does, he brings style, inspiration, creativity, not only to Xscape Radio, but to the community as a whole. And today we're going to just talk to him about what he does and what we do. And we're just going to, talk about different stuff. So go ahead and tell us to the listeners and the viewers exactly what it is that you do.
I would like to just say I'm a creator. In political terms, you would call me a bespoke tailor. And bespoke refers to handmade clothing, suits, waistcoats, trousers, things of that nature. Me personally, in my business, which is called Sartoria Tailoring, I make waistcoats, handmade waistcoats. I just started doing ties and pocket squares as well, also with bow ties in there to add more into it. When I first started doing it, I felt like I had to have some specific type of name to maybe speak on a waistcoat or whatever, but I decided to add accessories in there to give the name Sartoria Tailoring a better feeling. And of course, for those that don't know, Sartoria is short for sartorial, and sartorial refers to tailored and fine clothing, and it's also more of a lifestyle as well.
Okay, so look, so all those people out there who are getting fresh, just on Saturday thinking they're doing it big, we got Orlando Williams here. This is a lifestyle, he doesn't dress like this once or twice out a week. This is an everyday, 7 days, 8 days a week, 24 kind of way to do 24. It. And for like what he said, sartorial, for the viewers and listeners out there listening and watching, pretty much means elegant, stylish, so when he's saying he's a sartorial bully, what Mr. Williams is trying to say that he's a fashion god.
No, he's lying. He's saying that your fashion sucks. It's better.
All right, we ain't trying to throw shots, but we're going ahead and right now what we're going to do is we're going to play a quick song of Mr. Williams, Orlando Williams. One of the songs that inspires him when he creates his work, his custom waistcoats and whatnot. What in style inspires him? So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey, give me that black bottle. I can't dance good, but I'm gonna dance tonight, you hear me? Baby, just...
All right. Everybody, all the viewers and listeners, we are back. Xscape Radio, K-Sun, 95.9. We got a special guest, Orlando Williams. Once again, what Orlando does, his business is a custom tailoring high-end men's fashion business, and he creates different waistcoats, the proper term to call vests in the fashion world, square pockets, ties, bow ties. And what do you think would be one of your favorite things that you like to create or design?
Simply waistcoats, man. That's what I'm all about. When I first started sewing in general, the goal was to make suits at first, and then I had to start low. I had to start, with simple stuff at first. I think the first thing I ever made was a short sleeve shirt, short sleeve dress shirt, and that was my first time. It absolutely looks like crap on the inside sewing wise, but I still wore it. I remember the day I wore it. A lot of people liked it. But nobody knew what the inside looked like, though. So that was the good part.
Let them see what it looks like inside.
But there was quite a process with that. And then after that, I ended up making a waistcoat, and I was like, wow, I really liked it because the process with it was way more smoother than it was with the dress shirt. I felt more confident. I felt more comfortable with it. So I just started going from there with it. There were also some other dress shirts that I did in that capacity at time. I was actually sewing at this fabric store. It's a family owned one. It's over there by North High, if I remember correctly. But I started there. I did a class there during the summer. It was every Wednesday. So I made about 2 shirts there. And then after that, my mom decided to take over, and that's just where, the whole waistcoat thing started to play in.
And also, before we get to the waistcoats, recently, back in December of last year, Mr. Williams was featured on a Dapper Advisor blog by Akil McLeod, and pretty much they featured him just because of his style, his vibe, his designs that he brought, and it was a pretty big thing for him. And pretty much we would just want to talk about exactly how did that come about, and how did that whole feature go.
Man, well, actually, I was featured on there twice. The first time was more so of my work, and that came about by me just reaching out. I have paid attention to that menswear blog for some years now. Yeah, and sure. Akil, he's been doing his thing for some good time, man, and he's a very good guy, a very great guy to meet. And I just simply offered my services out to him. I let him know, hey, I really like what you got going on. If you feel like what I have is nice and you want to feature it on your site, just let me know.
Sure.
No big deal, free of charge, no big deal at all. So he decided to take the opportunity. We linked up. We went through a couple ideas. We went through one idea, and we were going to make that happen, and then he changed his mind. So then we switched over to something else, and we ended up doing an all denim waistcoat. And that was also that was the first feature that was featured on the site.
That's dope.
And then after that, I wanted to see if I could get on there, as myself on there. Because that's been the goal since I got in menswear. A lot of people don't realize that menswear blogs are they're important. They're very much needed. And for a Kansas kid to make it on New York soil, up in there, that's the big leagues in New York. And
that's real big, man.
What a lot of people don't realize is that you don't just simply ask, hey, put me on your menswear blog or this, that, and the third. You have to have a level of respect. You have to, the person has to believe in what you're doing, and they have to be motivated by you or in any shape or form to even want to consider putting you on their blog. Because if they're not feeling what you're doing or how you dress or etc., you're not going to be on there. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
That was a big step for me to get on there that second time, me alone with my work featured on there. Actually, to be honest, the first time I tried to get on there, it caught a red flag.
Really?
And it was because what I tried to provide was somewhat lackluster. The shots were good, but the outfit itself, at the time, I was a little bit frustrated about it. I thought it was good. I thought everything was great. The shots were good.
Right.
But after a while, after I had thought about it, I felt, maybe that wasn't the proper way for me to come about my first time in introducing myself. So we made the proper adjustments, and I went back to the drawing board, and I created good 3 waistcoats. At the time, I was like, how different fashion designers do collections and stuff like that. I was like, well, I want to start doing something like that. So I did this project called 3P, and I basically made
Wayne 3P.
Yeah, shout out to the Carter 3. I made all 3 waistcoats out of cotton and flannel.
Now, for the viewers and listeners out there, because at one point I didn't really know, tell them why a waistcoat is different than a vest. Why it's called a waistcoat?
Naturally, you'll call it a vest. A waistcoat is the political term for it. In the tailoring world, if you say a vest, they're gonna somebody would assume you're talking about a knitted a sweater or something like that.
And speaking of waistcoats, I was on Orlando's Instagram, and recently, me and Josh, we saw the Star Wars movie in Orlando. He had a custom made Star Wars waistcoat. I saw that on there. So, I think that's dope. So, we at Xscape Radio, we're Star Wars fans. So,
That was that waistcoat was actually done for a supervisor of mine. He had when I first started working, I wore a Marvel waistcoat that I had made a year or two back, and he really liked it. And I told him, I make waistcoats freelance, and he said, I need something. I said, I need something, and I knew he was a big fan of that stuff, like Marvel and Star Wars and stuff like that. And with the movie on the brink of coming out, I just thought it made sense to get that going for him, and he loved the idea, and we got that made for him, and it came out great.
That's dope.
You need to send that to John Bodega, the dude from the new Star Wars.
Yeah.
Hey, you should, man.
Yeah.
Hey, making big moves. And speaking of big moves, we're going to talk about some of the big moves Mr. Williams has in store. We may not be able to talk about it exactly, but we're going to kind of touch base on a little bit. Right now, we're going to play another track that Mr. Williams, Orlando, is inspired by. I'm all talking all crazy today. So let's keep the let's keep the energy going. Let's keep it moving. Xscape Radio.
No girl under 10, no will under 100 grand. Oh yeah, man, I make this money damn.
All right. I hope you guys like that last track we just played. We're back in business.
Yeah.
Speaking of business, Mr. Williams, what do you have? What kind of business moves do you have in plan for 2016?
Right now, I've been really just taking it all one day at a time. I've had a lot of people give me advice on what I need to do and what business and stuff I need to do to go forward. Right now, I do have a business deal on the table, but not something I can speak on at the moment. But I do have something on the table that should be a great achievement for this year to start off the year. But
for sure.
We'll see how that happens. The final touches is being done on it, but we'll see what happens. A website may come in the fall. I'm not really too sure on that right now. Honestly, when I first started this wasn't even supposed to be a business. I mean, it was just a hobby.
Hey, that's dope,
you know what I mean?
Man.
It was just a hobby. At the time, 2011, I was really into menswear, like big time into menswear. I'm looking at blogs every night. I'm skipping homework and reading on blogs and stuff like that. And, trying to figure out how can I get into the fashion world. At the time, I was at K-State and I was studying K-State. Yeah,
K-State.
And I was
K-State.
Yeah, I was studying psychology, and I was so deep into my major, I didn't see any point in switching. Yeah. And not only that, I didn't know how to sew, not the best drawer in the world. So I was like, well, what can I bring to the table as far as a fashion major goes? So,
and speaking of bringing stuff to the table, once again here at Xscape Radio, we brought Orlando to the table because he brings that creativity to the table. In Wichita as a whole, Wichita has a diverse of fashions, and some people know how to dress, some people don't know how to dress, but we're not going to touch on that.
But you just did it in that sentence.
We just did, but go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, well, bringing it back to the music, is out of all the music artists out there right now, who do you think is the best dressed?
That's a good question.
Because I know my personal favorite is Pharrell. I like the way he dressed. I like that skater style. But not that hat.
At a time, I would say Pharrell back in my skater days. Dressing like that,
Yeah, for sure.
You saw that that phase in my life. But
back in high school.
Right now,
because I know Jadena kind of brought that classic man dress back.
Hey, for sure.
And even before that, it's kind of like you had like Justin Timberlake trying to bring it back. I mean,
those guys, they definitely do their thing. Jadena, that's his name.
Yeah,
I don't really
classic
keep
man?
The classic man guy.
Yeah.
I don't really keep up with his music like that, but he definitely does his thing as far as dressing is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I guess I would say him as far as what I do. I mean, I'm not really too motivated by any artist right now as far as fashion is concerned. Everybody's in their own lane right now. I guess that's the only guy I could really relate to, honestly. But
that's dope, though. Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not really too motivated by anybody. I would say, guys like I feel like Pusha T's doing his thing. He's I've seen his evolution in style. Kanye, a lot of people don't like it, but
do you like Kanye stuff?
I do.
It's growing on me.
I do. It's growing on me. It's nothing that I would necessarily wear day to day, only because his stuff is broken down basics.
It's like the Hunger Games swag.
Yeah,
I know, right?
You know, a lot of people get upset about that. You know, like how can Kanye, you know, rip a hole in a sweater and sell it for like $350?
It's like an expensive potato sack, basically.
But what his stuff is basically broken down basics. I do like a lot of pieces that he has. He has jackets that I like.
Yeah,
for sure.
Of course, I love his shoes. I mean, he did just win shoe of the year with the Yeezy Boost.
Oh yeah, man.
So I love his shoes. I'm not too sure if I'm a big fan of his boots though. But other than that, Kanye's doing his thing as far as fashion is concerned. He's a big motivator actually as far as trying to make it is concerned, because he had a big struggle. He had a glass ceiling over his head, and he expressed that frustration in plenty of interviews with that about how
tracks and everything.
Nobody will help me. I need help. If somebody will help me, I could get where I want to go. And he just had to do his own thing, and he had losses in there as well, and he's came back from those losses.
Yeah.
And a good way he expressed himself was Sway in the morning when he was telling Sway, "You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway." And even recently, you know, he released that Facts track when he's kind of dissing Nike about, you know, how Nike kind of did him wrong, and talking about the Kimoji app and how much they made $1 million a minute, which is crazy. But anyways, other than business and inspiration, we was gonna figure out, just ask you, when did your style become more formal? Because, you know, there's always a point in our lives. I know at a point in my life I was wearing tall tees. You see, so there's always that point in our life when you're just looking at me like, man, why the heck did I wear that?
There was a point.
So when did
I did the tall tee phase too. I did that as well. But
that's funny.
2011, man. That's really where it all stems to. I mean, not to keep a long story short, I mean, it was a little bit before that as well. But 2011, man, that was when I started getting into blogs, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I was doing everything day to day. I just thought it was funny. A lot of people be like, man, I want to dress like this and I want to dress like that, but I don't have the money to do it. 2 words: thrift shopping.
Yay.
That's true.
That's a good point, man, because a lot of people, and that just doesn't go for fashion, but that can go for like anything in life. Like people say, hey, I want to eat healthy, but it's too expensive. But really, you know, using that money, you should never let money be, you know, excuse why you cannot do something. You see?
Yeah, I
so
mean,
that's a dope point.
And that's how I started, man. I did thrift shopping and eBay, and in Manhattan, the thrift stores were okay. I found a good piece here and there, but eBay was it helped me through everything.
That's dope.
Shoes, everything. That's how I was doing everything. Thrift shopping is how I started, and at the time I was paying attention to a blog called Street Etiquette.
Okay.
And it was these 2 guys named Joshua Kissy and Travis Gums, about our age, going to college and stuff like that, but fashion was what they wanted to do, and I felt very relatable to their blog, and I was doing a lot of what they were doing. At the time, you know, I didn't know how to get in my own lane. You know, what is it that I'm about? So I just basically did what they did. I did what they did, and sometimes I was able to incorporate into my own and this, that, and the third, and I was doing my own thing. And, you know, I was, I guess you could say I was kind of noticeable on K-State campus, you know.
Just with the fashion wise.
Just with doing my thing from day to day, dressing up every day. It was tough. Because, you know, every day you wake up early, going to class. You want to throw on some sweats.
Oh, yeah.
This, that, and the third. But every day.
That's that grind, that discipline that you had to have. So what would you tell, like, you know, for a listener out there listening who wants to, you know, dress up more formal, you know, how would you, what kind of services were you able to give to them? Or what kind of stuff would you tell them? Like, if they're interested in you customizing a waistcoat or a pocket, you know, what would you... what are some of your package deals that you're doing right now or plan on doing in the future that can make people who are inspired by your style, you know, get services by you?
Well, as far as somebody wanting to change their style up or wanting to be more formal, I would say go the same route I did. Menswear blogs, that's it. Menswear blogs, of course, GQ. You can go to GQ.com and look at that kind of stuff. That's really how I would go about doing it, just looking at this stuff and seeing if this is really for you. As far as my package deals go, I started doing package deals where you can get a waistcoat, a tie, and a pocket square for a set amount, depending on what you ask for. Yeah. Even a tie and a pocket square can come, or a pocket square and a waistcoat. Just different package deals like that.
For sure.
But as far as somebody wanting to change up their stuff, I would look at menswear blogs and decide, is this for me or is it not for me? Because some people,
it's not for
there's a
everybody.
difference between occasional people and day-to-day people. Because occasional people will tell you, well, there's nobody out here for me to impress. This is Wichita. What do I need to dress up for? And this, that, and the third. And it's not, I mean, for me, it's not about that. So a lot of people you'll see, they only dress up
for other people.
Well, not for other people, but certain occasions.
Okay.
They'll be like, oh, this is going on? Or you'll hear people
That's
say.
That's a good point.
That's true.
Another thing is, a lot of people will say, oh, well, let's put this event on so more people have something they can dress up to and this, that, and the third. Right, and that's cool. Right. But that's cool, you know, because a lot of people will say that, like, I have nothing to dress up to. So people want to put these events on so they can do that. And that's cool.
Exactly.
But, you know, people that are occasional, when it comes to my business, you know, like going back to what I said, it wasn't supposed to be a business because
it's something that you love.
It wasn't. Oh, it's something that I love doing, but financially wise, I mean, think about it. You know what I mean? This isn't a city where people. You have a lot of people every day that are like, oh man, let me go get, you know, a handmade joint from Orlando or this, that, and the third, or. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have people that are doing that day to day. These are just people that need something occasionally.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you'll never even know when that occasion is. Yeah. So that's why I was like, you know, this isn't about the money. And going into that, I mean, that's like a lot of females were asking me to do stuff. And I was like, you know, I don't make women's clothing. I can design it, but I don't want to make it. That's not what I want to do. And a lot of females will say, you can make a lot of money. But that's not what this is about. You know what I mean? Like it's not about. I'm not trying to do that to make money.
And see, I think that's a good point as well, because see, so many times, you know, people are out here trying to do stuff for money. You know, the world is run by money, but at the same time, I like to look at success as, you know, doing something that you love and being able to, you know,
enjoy it.
Another thing
make money.
Another thing is that if I didn't stick to my guns, I don't think I would have had the opportunities that I got last year or that I have now. Now, I mean, who's to say? Maybe I could have had a different opportunity if I was putting women's clothing in there. But for what I wanted to do, the way this started and the dreams that I had, I'm getting everything that I've set out for, and that was by sticking to my guns. That's cool, just like I always bring this up and I always like to talk about it. A lot of people don't know how Ralph Lauren got started. Ralph Lauren, he started at an internship, and he was interning with ties. And the company that he was with, they were doing ties. And he kept mentioning over and over again, hey, can we do a different tie? You know what I mean? Can we do something different? And the main guy would tell him, hey, the world's not ready for you yet. Because the world's not ready for you yet. You're a little bit ahead of your time. So when he was able to do his own thing, he started making his own ties. Ralph Lauren goes to Bloomingdale's. You know, Bloomingdale's at the time was popping. That was the spot, sure. Bloomingdale's. Bloomingdale's lets Ralph Lauren know, hey, if you want to sell your ties here, you have to put our tag on it and we'll sell it. He said no. He stuck to his guns, left that money behind. That goes back to that. Left that money behind and said, I'm about to go do my own thing. Bloomingdale's calls him later on, says, hey, we can't get anybody to do such and such. Bring your ties back. Hey. And that's how he got started, because Ralph Lauren stuck to his guns. It wasn't about the money. It was about branding himself and starting small.
Man, I didn't even know that story at all, man. And so many people out here wearing Ralph, you know, Lauren or Ralph Lauren, and they don't really know the history behind it. And it's so important to know the history of...
the funny thing about Ralph Lauren is, I mean, Ralph Lauren stems all the way back to high school.
You didn't have the Ralph Lauren polo on. People used to blue. That's the polo assassin.
Back in high school, you know, a lot of people say, you know, the man makes the clothes don't make the man.
Right. I heard that before.
That I don't think that really applied when it came to Ralph Lauren in high school. So when you see somebody with Ralph Lauren on, you automatically think, oh man, he got money. Like that's that dude. Like he got Ralph Lauren on. So back then we were all a bunch of label heads. Back then I feel like, that's, you know, but I mean, even though people are label heads now, but I feel like back then we were really label heads, because think about it, we're all kids in high school. We have no money. Not everybody's growing up rich or this, that, and the third. So when we don't get these things. So think about all the brands that was out back then: Ralph Lauren, Lacoste, Ed Hardy, all these different stuff, all these different brands. Hardy. So when we get these brands, we don't care how we dress it up or anything like that. We just know we have these brands on. So what can you tell me?
That's a good point.
So that's how it was. And with Ralph Lauren, it's not like everybody was wearing everything Ralph Lauren had to offer. It started with the polo shirt. Then it went to the dress shirt. Then it went to the hats.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you maybe saw a jacket here and there. You might have saw some pants. And, of course, the polo boots.
For sure.
Big epidemic.
Yeah.
But, you know, after a while, you know, then you have people saying, well, Ralph Lauren is out of style now. And
then what do you think about that?
Well, first of all,
because obviously we can tell that, you know, Ralph Lauren has been a big inspiration to you.
Well, I mean, business-wise, yeah. I mean, for me personally, I feel like if you want to say Ralph Lauren is out of style, you're more so talking about the polo shirt itself.
Exactly.
That's true.
And you can't talk about everything else, because think about what everything Ralph Lauren has. T-shirts.
Shoes, socks,
socks, suits at that. Suits, waistcoats, etc. I remember this one guy, I was having a conversation with one guy, and we were talking about this, and he said, man, Ralph Lauren's done. I'm done with Ralph Lauren this time and third. And I kept that in mind because we were supposed to link up that weekend and go kick it. I wore it was a Ralph Lauren waistcoat. It was red velvet, and I wore it. He was like, bro, he was like, that waistcoat. He was like, that is nice. Where'd you get that? Like, I need that.
Yeah.
I was like, it's Ralph Lauren.
Yeah.
And you didn't even know it. You didn't even know it. The no label. That's why I remember Wale used to talk about, if I wear Ralph Lauren now, I need the no label.
Hey, that's a good point.
I need the no label because a lot of people, they'll wear Ralph Lauren, but they need that horse on there.
Exactly.
To justify it.
That's a good point.
Like, man, I need that horse on there. If the horse ain't on there,
because it's like, why are you paying money? Because people are paying money for that label.
They want that label.
They want that label because they don't feel like
they want that prestige with it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Kind of like you got to have the Beats headphones.
Yeah, man. So,
with Ralph Lauren, it's definitely not out of style. I know the preps. The true preppy dressers are happy that they got their polo shirts back. I know that much.
Hey, right. So once again, you know, before we wrap up, we're gonna have Orlando, you know, give out all of his information, his social media. I know you can follow him on Instagram. Tell me your Instagram again.
My Instagram is _Kane, KAINE _.
All right, and so follow him there. He has all of his designs and everything. You can see. I can DM. You know, Yo Gotti. Everything goes down the DM if you need. You know, some
waistcoats,
whatever.
Due to popular belief, it does not go down in the DM.
He cut that short. He was like, no. maybe this time now.
I was listening to that track the way here because I was bumping up my gas and someone was bumping that track so hard. I was just like,
hey, low key, it's a good song though. It's catchy. Yo Gotti knew what he was doing, man.
Yo Gotti know exactly what he's doing. So hey, once again, Orlando Williams here at Xscape Radio, K-Sun 95.9. Last thing that we're gonna touch on, I just want to say, you know, I remember in graduation back in May, we graduated, walked across WSU, and you know, that was just cool that we did that. I saw Orlando with some shades on, but he, you know, he didn't want to walk across the stage with him on, but you know, he's a cool dude. So once again, you have any other last things you want to tell any of the listeners or the viewers exactly about your style and your vibe or anything else?
Shout out Capstone Photography, AJ Johnson. That's my photographer. Support his company, Capstone Productions. Shout out to everybody else that's doing their thing, clothing wise. Mars Mansion, Not Human, Mute Haters. Shout out to Tuggle. Also, tomorrow, I believe Not Human has the grand opening of their new shop.
Sure.
Space Station.
Shout out to Corey and all those guys over there. I believe that's 1 to 7. Do we know the address on that?
The Space Station, no, I don't. But no, it's downtown because I did a photo shoot for him a while back in the summer.
Well, yeah, definitely support your locals, man. That's all I can really say. Support your locals. A lot of people. There's a
crab
big
in the barrel.
Well, not only that. There's a big opinion on people in Wichita not supporting other locals and stuff like that. And,
it really is, man.
Yeah,
so once again, support your locals. Support K-Sun here, the nonprofit radio station, Xscape Radio. Support Mr. Williams. Support everybody that you can. Support a loved one. Once again, we're going to get back to the next hour of the music here on Xscape Radio. So stay tuned, stay locked. Xscape Radio.
Peace.
Peace.
Xscape Radio. Escape the norm. Escape your mind. Escape your mind.